Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanacham Hari Yamunatira Vanacham Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradham Hari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanacham Hari Yamunatira Vanacham Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundara Radha Shama Sundara Hare Jaya Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Radhe Sham Jaya Radhe Sham Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotar Satta Shishyamatchila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotar Satta Shishyamatchila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Kode Vaishnavrinda ki. Jai Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Ji Jeev Gopalavatta Rasa Raghunath Chari Goswami Prabhu ki. प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवधरि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपाल गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मथुरा धाम की श्री मायापुर धाम की श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Ganga Yamuna Devi ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Sri Sri Gaunitai ki, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Sri Sri Radha Sham Sundar ki, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, all glories to the Assam devotees, all glories to the Assam devotees, all glories to Shigran, Chiguranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva tamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayamurirayet. Nashtapaye Shavadesho Nitam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Ete Chamsa Kalapumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Sayam Indriyar Vyakalam Lokam Ridyante Yuge Yuge Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam Pranama Dukha Samanastam Namami Harim Param. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 78, text number 38. So there's only small, so I will chant text number 38, 39, and then we'll chant together text number 40. ṛṣaya ūcuḥ ilvalasya suto ghoro balvalo nāma dānavaḥ dūṣayati satram etya parvaṇi. Translation: the sages said, a fearsome demon named Balvala, the son of Ilvala, comes here every new moon day and contaminates our sacrifice. Purport. First the sages tell Lord Balaram the favor they would like him to do for them. Text 39. Tam pāpaṁ jahi dāśārha tanna susanam tanna susanam param puya sonita vinmutra suramamsa bivarshinam. Translation: O descendant of dāśārha, please kill that sinful demon who pours down pus, blood, feces, urine, wine and meat upon us. This is the best service you can do for us. Text number 40. Tattascha bharatam varsham parityasu samahitam charitvad-vadashamasams tītasnahi vishuddhyase. Tattascha bharatam varsham parityasu samahita charitvad-vadashamasams tītasnahi vishuddhyase.
Tattascha bharatam varsham parityasu samahitaha charitvad-vadashamasams tītasnahi vishuddhyase.
Mataji's. Tatha, then, cha, and, Bharatvarsham, the land of Bharat, India, paritya, circumambulating, susamahita, in a serious mood, charitva, performing penances, dvadasha, 12, masan, month, tirtha, at holy places of pilgrimage, snahi, bathing, vishuddhyasya, you will be purified. Translation of purport by the disciples of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Thereafter for 12 months you should circumambulate the land of Bharat in a mood of serious meditation, executing austerities and bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites. In this way you will become purified. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami points out that the word Vishuddhyasi means that Lord Balaram would achieve spotless fame by setting such a perfect example for the people in general. Srila Prabhupada writes, the Brahmanas could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial for them. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 78th chapter, the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of Dantavakra, Vidurat and Romaharshan. Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yotapadakamalan Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishaganvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Govika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Ganjana Gaudangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the pastimes of the Supreme Lord are most wonderful and also very instructive. So here about Balaram, description is there. Balaram, the elder brother of Krishna in Braj. And Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adipurush, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Tattva Vichar, the consideration of the Absolute Truth, everything is emanating from Krishna. So Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. But in Lila Vichar, in the consideration of the pastimes, so Balaram is the elder brother. And sometimes, so he is there in a protective mood towards Krishna. And so he's expanded actually in all rasas. Balaram is serving Krishna. The different paraphernalia, these are expansions of Balaram. And Balaram also is thinking, I am the servant of Krishna. Sometimes, and Krishna Balaram, the brother and best of friends. And so some parental affection is there towards Krishna, because he is the elder brother, protective of Krishna. And it is explained also by the acharyas that Balaram is manifest as Ananga Manjari, the younger sister of Srimati Radharani, to serve Krishna in the Madhurya Ras. So, of course here, the wonderful pastime is there that Balaram actually, so whatever he's doing as a Supreme Lord is perfect and complete. So it is mentioned by Shukadeva Goswami a few verses before that Balaram as Krishna, so they were killing the impious persons which were burdened on this material planet here, Bharatvarsha. But at one point, Balaram stopped killing the impious. But then Shukadeva Goswami is explaining, but Ramahasan, he had to be eliminated also because of his not behaving properly. And so, as Balaram had come to Naimisharanya, and the great sages had performed the sacrifice, and then they asked Ramahasan Sutta to speak about transcendental subject matters in front of thousands of great sages, which he did, and everyone respected him. Although he was, that is explained by the acharyas in the purports, it is mentioned, that he was not actually from a pure Brahmana family, so mixed caste. But still, the assembled Brahmanas, great sages, they appointed him to speak, to sit on the Vyasasan, and to speak on transcendental subject matters, and everyone was ready to listen. And so as he was speaking, then by the will of Providence or by Balaram's own sweet will, so he came there, and so everyone, as soon as Balaram came, so they stood up and they respected him. But Ramahasan, so he was thinking, I'm the speaker here, and so I don't need to stand up and respect Balaram. So that was his mood. Of course, different persons, they may have different understandings also, but usually if a great personality is coming, let's say if some great personality would come to the temple here, so then it is the duty done and everyone would do that also. If one of our leaders would come here then, or let's say the Prime Minister would come, of course, usually there's security, but if a great personality would come then everyone would usually stand up and greet the personality. That is etiquette, proper etiquette. So, but then the speaker, he may or may not, because he's representing Vyasadeva, or he's representing the Supreme Lord, and he's speaking about transcendental subject matters. Seeing also the position of the personality who is coming. So that is there. So, but Balaram as the Supreme Lord, so he has to be respected, and Romahash and Sutta, he should have stood up also and respected him. That was proper. But because he didn't do that, so therefore Balaram, who is actually, of course, transcendently situated and is Satchidananda Swarup, is peaceful by nature, but all the emotions which we see in this material world are actually perverted reflections of the transcendental emotions. So there's transcendental anger, and even Krishna becomes sometimes transcendently angry, even Srimati Radharani. So Balaram also, sometimes he gets transcendently angry. So he became upset, he became a little angry, and then he just took a blade of grass, With a blade of grass usually you cannot harm anybody. You take a blade of grass, it's a kind of nothing, right? But because he's the all-powerful Supreme Lord and he wanted to eliminate him, so he just touched him with a blade of grass and he fell over dead. So just by his will actually, but just he showed, here I have a blade of grass and you're gone, and he was gone. And everyone, hi, 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 what you have done, Balaram? Actually nothing wrong on Balaram's side. He's the Supreme Lord. He's perfect and complete. Whatever he's doing is transcendental. The Supreme Lord is never doing anything wrong. And the pure devotees also, although it appears sometimes, like even Krishna, so sometimes he does something which may appear to be not right, telling Yudhishthira to say a lie, and so on. But so the Supreme Lord is completely independent and he can do as he wishes. But usually it is for the benefit of all, whatever he is doing. Although sometimes it may not seem to be beneficial, but ultimately it is. Even his killing the demons, it is for their benefit. Demons may be liberated and put in their constitutional position, like Shishupal and Datta because they were actually Jahi and Vijay. So they were killed and they went back to Vaikuntha to serve Narayana or Vishnu. But others, they may not attain this position, but some benefit was there. It is mentioned some of the demons, they entered the Brahma Jyoti, which is a kind of liberation, become liberated from this material existence. But in the Brahma Jyoti there is no activity there. There are unlimited jivas in the Brahma Jyoti, but that is in the conditioned state, they are not able to serve Krishna. Nitya Bada, the condition since time immemorial, those who are there. So there's no use of going there, like the Mayavadis, they want to go there. And eventually they have to come back to this material world. Because by nature, Jivera Sopoi Krishnera Nitya Das, everyone is an eternal servant of Krishna and is meant to serve Krishna according to Krishna's desire, according to Krishna's wish, for his pleasure. So here, the sages, they cried, oh, you have committed an irreligious act. Actually, it was not irreligious to kill him, because again, he's the Supreme Lord and whatever he does is for the benefit of of all concerned. But just because usually it should not be done, if a speaker is there just for a small thing to kill the person, that is not right. From the ordinary point of view, because he didn't stand up and then to kill him. So that is not right actually. But because Krishna or Balaram, they are perfect and complete, you cannot say he's wrong. So but they were expressing from ordinary point of view that it is not right. So and then he explained why. We gave him a seat of spiritual master and we blessed him that may you have a long life and be free from physical pain. As long as the sacrifice will continue, I do not want to go on for 1,000 years, long time. So usually the Brahmanas, when they're giving blessings, satyavak, they're speaking the truth, and that will actually happen usually. Satyam, satyavak, they speak the truth, and if they give blessings, because they are depending on the Supreme Lord, and then usually that will be actually accomplished, what they're saying, because they're representing the Supreme Lord. Just like they will say, Mahaprabhu used to say, Krishna matirastu, may Krishna be in your consciousness. Of course it may take some time also for one to become Krishna conscious, but the blessings are there and it is just a matter of time till the blessing will fructify. Or Ayushvam Bhavatu, may you have a long life. So usually it will happen like this, they will be able to live for a long life, for a long time. Or Mangalam Bhavatu, may everything be auspicious. May you be healthy so you can speak nicely. So they were a little bit concerned. We gave the blessing and we are Brahmanas. So in this way then our blessings will go in vain. So that was their expression. But then they are also clarifying to Balaram and saying that actually the revealed scriptures, or we cannot dictate to you what to do, because you are the Supreme Lord. But at the same time, so because the Brahmana is killed, so if we can suggest something that would be nice if you could abide by that, if you could follow that. Because it was their duty now to solve the problem. Because the Bhagavatam had to go on. So now what to do? So they expressed to Balaram. And then Balaram he said, okay fine, I will do some atonement for killing the Brahmana. On that you can see the Supreme Lord, he actually doesn't have to perform atonement, there's no need. But because the Supreme Lord is all powerful, but at the same time is most humble. He's most humble. And just to set the example for others. Okay, I did a mistake, he didn't do a mistake, but apparently others, they were expressing in this way, because according to ordinary vision it was a mistake. So therefore he said, all right, I will abide by your suggestion and I will perform some atonement, just to set the example. So that is his humility, there was no need. But just out of humility, to set the example, not that others will say, well, Balaram did like this, so we'll do like that too. So therefore Krishna himself, not in Braj, there he didn't follow many rules and regulations, but when he went to Mathura and Dwarka, he was a dutiful householder, and following the scriptures also, and worshipping the elders, respecting the spiritual master, even respecting Yudhishthira, who was elder to him. And then he was, again, Krishna also, he took the humble position always. And he became the chariot driver of Arjuna, because he decided not to fight. Of course, because ultimately, by his will, all the people can be killed. But he wanted the Bhagavad Gita to be spoken, and he wanted to give the glory to Arjuna. So, but still then he took the humble position, and he became the chariot driver, and according to one ashram, a chariot driver is like a Shudra. He's doing seva for others. So but Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental, is not hesitant to perform an ordinary task. And then when the sacrifice was to be performed after the battle was over, and Yudhishthira was to be enthroned as the emperor, so then Krishna humbly came to him and he said, I can do for you, please let me know. And Yudhishthira said, well, you may welcome all the guests who are coming. So he was there, he was welcoming everyone who came to attend the Rajasuya sacrifice. And he was respecting the elders, offering garlands, even washing the feet. As the Supreme Lord, he took the humble position to teach that according to etiquette, we should act in a certain way. So also Balaram, although the independent Supreme Lord, so he accepted that yes, I will do atonement, and actually he's mentioning also, since I wish to show compassion to the people in general. So he was going and they asked him to go for pilgrimage for 12 months, to visit all the holy places. And for purification, externally speaking, they were explaining, but then they were also explaining for the benefit of the common man. Because if the Supreme Lord is going to different places or a saintly person, then all the common man is benefited. So he himself is expressing, yes, I will do, and show compassion to the people in general. So then he's also expressing now, what do you want me to do? You please explain. And then also he was trying to help them out because they had to have another speaker to speak. And so he was suggesting that, and the sages were also saying that we have to have another speaker. And then Supreme Lord said, all right, let the son of Ramaharshan, Sutta Goswami, let him be the speaker. And all the blessings you gave him, so by my mystic power that will be transferred to him. So long life, he will have long life, and he will have strength and sensory power, and he will be able to speak very nicely. So the sages, they were very happy, of course, with that. And then, as we know, he was speaking to the sages at Naimisharana. And then, out of his compassion, mercy, he was asking the sages, so anything else you want me to do for you? And then they were expressing in text number 38 that there's one demon named Balvala, the son of Ilvala. So he comes here every new moon, Amavasya, parvaṇi. So, and contaminates our sacrifice. So, as we know, so Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha is there, the bright fourth night of the moon, and then the full moon night is there, and then the dark fourth night of the moon, and then the end, that is the new moon, or the moon is not visible. And so at that time, the demon came and he was contaminating the place. So it is indicated here, of course, that he came in the evening time, when it was dark, and he was contaminating the place. So that they could not continue with the sacrifice the next day. They had to clean the whole place. And usually, especially if blood is there and meat, and then everything has to be actually established again. If a Yagakund was there and he put meat there and wine, then actually it has to be demolished and a new one has to be built. So it is an inconvenience for them, and they were disturbed by that. And they didn't have anyone who could protect the sacrificial area. They must have some, but they were not able to check that demon. So therefore they asked him to please kill that demon, and of course Balaram also did that. And then thereafter, text 40, so it is mentioned, they were asking him that for 12 months, so for 1 year, you should circumambulate Bharatvarsha and go to all the holy places, and in this way. So here it is mentioned, Samahitaha. So in a very serious mood, Gambhir. So that if, for example, if one is doing something wrong, and then one gets some chastisement, then one should be feeling some remorse. I did something wrong. And one should be sober, one should be serious. And not just jolly, yes, no problem, and he gave me some punishment, no problem, no. But one should be very serious and recognize that I did a mistake, and so I should atone for that. So that is the indication here, that in a serious mood, you should go on pilgrimage, and then executing austerities, and bathing at various holy places. And here then it is mentioned, according to the Sanskrit, Vishuddhyasi, in this way you will become purified. But as explained, and as we know, Krishna or Balaram, Satchidananda Swarup, he's never contaminated. He's never under the modes of material nature, Balaram. He's always transcendental. There's no possibility of a contamination for the Supreme Lord or a pure devotee. So therefore, in the purport, it is mentioned, Jiva Goswami has been mentioned, the word Vishuddhyasi, that because in Sanskrit, the different words can have many meanings. Just like, for example, Atma, if we say Atma. Atma refers to the soul, but Atma can also refer to the Supreme Soul, usually Paramatma, but even Atma can refer to the Supreme Lord. And even, so according to the verse and the context, Atma can also refer to the body, to the subtle body and the gross body, because they are intimately connected. The subtle body and the gross body, they are together, covering the soul, by which the soul can do some activity in this world. And as we know then, but even for one object, there may be different names, like the sun. You have Surya, Bhaskar, Matang, or Mitra. Mitra refers to the sun, means Mitra also means the friend. So the sun is our friend also, especially in the winter, when it's cold, and everyone is looking forward for the sun. And by the sun, because of the sun, we can see during the day. Nighttime, there's no sun, we cannot see. We need a torchlight. Or when the moon is there, then okay, we can see something. So therefore, the moon is, under the sun, is considered to be our friend. And also, actually the sun is purifying the consciousness. That is explained in the scriptures also. So therefore is a friend of the jivas who are recognizing the power of the sun. So here, so it's referring to the verse Vishuddhyasi, means that Balaram will achieve spotless fame by setting such a perfect example for the people in general. So people, in other words, by doing that, because the Supreme Lord is not getting purified, but is achieving fame. Because people will say, oh, look at this, the Supreme Lord, Balaram, although he's spotless in character, but still, he's going on pilgrimage just to set the example that he killed the Ramahas Sutta, so that from one point of view it was not proper, and he accepted atonement just to set the example for the common man. And then in this way he will be glorified, setting a good example for the people in general. and Prabhupada is commenting also in this regard. The Brahmanas could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial for them. So the Brahmanas, they understood the Lord's mind, and at the same time they wanted that he does something so that it will be beneficial for everyone. Means beneficial for the Brahmanas because they wanted the sacrifice to continue. So therefore they wanted Balaram to find a solution, which he did also for that. And so giving the blessings or transferring the blessings which they gave to Ramaharshan to his son Suta Goswami. And then by going on pilgrimage, then that will be beneficial for all the common people who will be there, who will be able to have darshan of Balaram. And then in this way they will get his blessings also. So these descriptions in the Srimad Bhagavatam are completely transcendental and very wonderful, enlivening and entertaining, so to say, interesting and very instructive also. We can learn so much in these pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout the Bhagavatam. And then the Acharyas, like specifically Prabhupada also, he quoted the previous Acharyas' commentaries, especially Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Of course, the original commentator, Sridhar Swami, Prabhupada many times he mentions him in the purports, but then also other great commentators, especially the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and more specifically Sanatana Goswami, and then Jiva Goswami, and also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So these three great associates of Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada many times he quotes them, and then he was giving, according to time, place and circumstances, Srila Prabhupada, he gave some additional information so for the benefit of the conditioned souls of this time and at various places in this world. So we have 10 minutes left. I will speak about Abhiram Das Thakur, an associate of Nityananda Prabhu Mahaprabhu, a few words. But first, if there is any question or any comment in regard to these verses and purports.
Thank you. I'm trying to understand. The sages in Naimisharanya started the sacrifice, and then, at one point Krishna disappears from the world, but then Balaram. So when Suta Goswami was installed, instead of Ramaharsha and Suta, and then he heard the Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, right?
Yeah, he had heard Suta Goswami, yes.
So how did the history, in the sense that, when did this take place, Lord Balaram, Kushagras, Ramaharshan, in relation to Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj?
But that was after. Obviously, because Suta Goswami was there, and Shukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit for 7 days, and afterwards, so Parikshit had to give up his body.
But I thought the sages started their yajna after Shukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. But it looks like the sages already started their yajna in Naimisharanya prior to speaking of Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj.
Prior to Shukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit?
Yeah, I thought all the sages started this 1,000-year yajna at Naimisharanya after Shukadeva Goswami actually spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. So I'm just a little confused on that.
As far as I remember also. But you see, the thing is that after Shukadeva Goswami spoke, then so Parikshit, he left his body. Actually it is mentioned that by his own sweet will, he decided he was in meditative pose and he was concentrating on his consciousness on the lotus feet of Krishna, and then, so he practically already left Yachaya, as I mentioned, and then the snake bird came and bit him. So, but then afterwards, then everyone left and they went to their respective places, and then, so there's a different place. Suta Goswami went to a different place where the sages of Naimisharanya were there, and they started. So exactly when they started, if they started during the time when he spoke Shukadeva, a little before or right after that, I'm also not exactly remembering what it is.
It's all the Lord's arrangement.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, the main thing is actually we have to see the substance, what is there. Yeah, of course, we are curious and sometimes we like to know for information that is there. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We're told to avoid name, fame, adoration and distinction, but the Brahmins seem to be encouraging Lord Balaram by saying you'll become famous by doing this.
Yes.
So how can we apply this in our spiritual lives? Like by doing some services, devotees will naturally become famous, but at the same time responsibilities need to be taken. So how should we approach this?
Yes. Well, first of all, actually, the Brahmanas, they were saying that you will be purified by going to the places of pilgrimage. They didn't say. That is Jiva Goswami who is giving his understanding that according to the Sanskrit meaning. And so that is Jiva Goswami's view, and which is true. That Balaram anyhow is already famous, but by doing that he will become more famous. It's not the Brahmanas who are saying, it's Jiva Goswami who is saying. So there was Brahmanas, they were giving the ordinary meaning that you will be purified, but they knew also it doesn't need to be purified. And they knew by going to the different places of pilgrimage, then the general people will be benefited. They knew that also. And anyhow he's already famous and he may become more famous, that is there, but they didn't say that. They didn't have to say. Yeah. But Jiva Goswami is for our understanding, because somebody may be thinking, in this way, they're saying to Balaram, you will become purified. They may be doubting, how Balaram will be purified? He was contaminated. Just for our understanding, the acharyas, they give the proper, how we should think, the proper way of thinking, that is pure. The Supreme Lord is always pure and there's no fault on his part. But it had to happen in this way, and everything is fine. But at the same time, in ordinary dealings, then it has to be explained to the ordinary people. And then, so Jiva Goswami is elucidating, is rightly saying that the word vidushasi means that the Lord, by going to the different places, he will achieve fame, and then he will benefit the people, because they will say, oh, the Supreme Lord Balaram is so humble and is following the Brahmana's advice, going for pilgrimage, although he doesn't need to do that, but he's doing. So, but it doesn't matter actually to Balaram, because he's completely transcendental and he's not behind fame and glory, right? But for us, of course, so we should be careful and we should do our duty, but then if we should not be actually looking that somebody should glorify us. Not now I'm speaking here and I hope that after the class they will glorify me. Oh, that was a nice class. We should not... Yeah, okay. And then we should not be artificial. One time one devotee glorified me for something. I said, okay. And he was saying, why are you not covering your ears? Why did you do like this? No, don't glorify me. I said, well, it's not a big deal. One day we are glorified and the next day we are criticized. So we should be keep poised. If somebody is glorifying us, it's okay, no problem. We take it, but we actually should remember then Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. Because it is by the mercy of Guru, Gauranga and Krishna that we can do something. And if somebody is criticizing us, then we should not blame Krishna. Oh, it's Krishna's fault, right? No. It is due to our misfortune, maybe we did something wrong, now people are criticizing me. Or it is just the nature of the world. We can also think in this way. One day you glorify, the next day you criticized. But you accept it, let it come and let it go. It will come and go. But you should be concerned in trying to please Guru, Gauranga and Krishna. That is the main thing. And we are not after name, fame, glory, the same old story. So that is there. But if it is coming, we accept it, but we should remember Guru, Gauranga and Krishna and not take the credit. Like Prabhupada. He didn't take the credit when they were saying, oh, Prabhupada, he did so much. Then he was saying, no, it is just by the mercy of my spiritual master that I am able to do something. So that is the mood of a devotee. But if something is not working out, then he's taking the responsibility. And well, maybe I did something wrong or due to the circumstance, and I take the responsibility. That is the mood of a devotee. Any other question or?
Hare Krishna, thank you for the nice lecture. Is it fair to say that these caste brahmanas that are at the sacrifice of Ramaharshana, that they're very indulgent in karma kanda, since the Supreme Lord is there himself, and the Vyasan is now empty? Wouldn't it have been better for common man if they invited him to speak and began worshipping him?
Lord Balarāma.
Yeah. Or were they thinking, well, Balaram's a Kshatriya, we can't have him speak, we should just send him to take bath around it, Bharat? Is it fair to say they were maybe a little too karma kanda, or?
Well, you see, actually, at that time, even when Shukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit, there are many sages there, and some were actually pure devotees. Even Vyasadeva was there, and other great sages were there, that is described in Bhagavatam. Some of them were exalted personalities, but not all. Some they were ordinary sages, not so exalted. Some were karma kandis. And therefore, even in the Bhagavatam, you can see that Parikshit sometimes is asking a question. And then the acharyas have explained in the purport that why he's asking the question. Because, for example, he could understand that not everyone is qualified to understand what Shukadeva Goswami is saying. And Parikshit, who he understood, but for the benefit of some of the people who are not qualified, he had some further questions. So similarly here also, when Suta Goswami spoke to the sages, so some of them, they were exalted, like Shonaka Rishi was exalted. Some others were exalted, but others were there, they were not so exalted. Some they were karma kandis. Some they had some material desires also. So different persons were there that we have to understand. Even when you see the assembly of devotees here, so some devotees are more exalted, like our president, and others are there. Very exalted personalities. And there's some devotees that are new bhaktas, and so they are just in the beginning. So there's a difference there. And some are renounced, the brahmacharis, and so they are exalted, and there's some grihastas maybe less exalted. But at the same time, some grihastas are exalted too, that we should understand. So it's sometimes difficult to say. So, but many persons were there, and not all were extremely qualified. So therefore, according to that also, Suta Goswami had to see, and when he spoke, but generally the leaders, they were knowledgeable, and they were more devoted, and therefore they recognized Balaram also, but they had to make some adjustment that they had to, because again, unqualified people were there. And apparently, according to normal kind of etiquette, so it was not right to kill Ramaharshana Sutta. And because some people were there, they were saying, hi, what is this? How we can do that? And so those who were more learned, they understood that actually is nothing wrong on his side, because it's the Supreme Lord. And it has to be in this way. His time was up, although they gave blessings. And to show the supreme power of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, Like even according to astrology, we may have a long life, but if Krishna wants us to go earlier, then we have to go earlier. Even according to astrology, if you're supposed to, maybe there's a chance of leaving this body, but if Krishna wants us to live longer, then we live longer. So like this, the Lord is beyond this jurisdiction of this material world. And so that we have to understand. But so ultimately, so those who are more advanced and understanding, they consulted with Balaram, and then it was mutual understanding, and Balaram, most understanding, he took the humble position. Most humble position. He didn't have to, but he's the Supreme Lord and he's most humble. And he was showing, and then others were appreciating. Okay? Is that all right? It is 9 o'clock. I think we should just say 2 words about Abhiram Das Thakur, but you can ask me after the class also, because we have to follow the schedule. So Srila Abhiram Gopal Thakur ki, Sri Ram Das, his name was also Ram Das, Abhiram Ram Das. So he's a great associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and specifically understood to be an associate of Nityananda Prabhu. And there are 12, and they are known as Dwadash Gopal. 12 of the associates of Nityananda, they are known to be cowherd boys in Krishna Lila. So that is mentioned. So he was an extremely powerful personality, spiritually powerful, but also physically he was very strong, extremely strong. So of course he was in the mood of the Gopas. He's a cowherd boy, his name is Sri Dam in Krishna Lila, a friend of Krishna and Balaram. So then there in Gaur Lila, so he's there as Abhiram Das Thakur, but then he's remembering Krishna and Balaram and the Gopas, and Krishna is playing the flute. He's famous for playing the flute. But even the other Gopas, like children, one boy has a flute, the other boys, they also want a flute. So Krishna has a flute, Balaram has a flute, Balaram's friends, they also have flute. So he was in that mood, so he was thinking, I have to get a flute. At that time he didn't have a flute. So he was first searching in the forest, and he found a big piece of wood. And 16 men could not move that big piece of wood. It was a big piece and it was heavy. But he easily picked it up, and the flute was made out of it. And he was playing the flute, a huge flute. Like you can see the flute players in India, with the bamboo flute, they have not only one flute. They have almost, usually around 12 flutes. The small one, little bigger one, and they have a huge one also like this. Even Krishna has also many flutes. And the Venu, Murli and Vamsi. The small one, medium one and big one, and they all have a name, I can't remember them. So he wanted a big flute, big man, big flute. And he was playing the flute. And everyone was astonished how he was playing the flute. And he had also, like for example, those who are taking care of the cows and the bulls, they have a whip to just move them here and there, because sometimes with the hand you cannot really, because they have a big body. So with the whip, they were moving the bulls or the cows. So he had a whip, and he gave a name to the whip also. Jai Mangal, Jai Mangal. Mangal means auspicious and Jai means victory. And he was going around with the flute and with the whip. And he was giving blessings to the devotees, hitting them with the whip. Jai Mangal. And in this way they were blessed. Abhiram Thakur, a pure devotee of Gauritai, an associate of Krishna and Balaram in Braj. When you're touched by such a great personality, you're blessed. And you will feel transcendental emotions. Wow, we're blessed by Abhiram Das Thakur. He hit us with a whip. Jai. And it is mentioned that one great acharya, Srinivasacharya, of course is also an associate, but in the past time he also got the mercy of Abhiram Das Thakur. He also hit him with his whip. And Srinivasa was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy. So he was very powerful. And the atheists and blasphemers, those who were blaspheming the devotees, the atheists, they were afraid because he was running behind them, because he was powerful. They were fleeing from when they saw him. They were just running away because he was strong, and they were fearing being beaten up by him. So he was a very powerful preacher, very learned in the scriptures. And so he was expert also in music, so playing the flute and other instruments, and singing. He was an expert singer. He was dancing ecstatically also, like the associates of Mahaprabhu. And so he was staying in Bengal, and he was using his house for preaching. He invited devotees, and they had preaching and kirtan in his house. So his house resounded with kirtan and Krishna Katha, and many devotees, they used to come and see him. Srila Abhiram Das Thakur ki, Sisi Gonitai ki, Sisi Krishna Balaram ki, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Go, Jai Jai Sisi Radhe Shyam, Hare Krishna.
Yes. I was wondering, because